But yeah, anyway, without hello everyone, welcome back, and today I will be showing you my rank 4 spam deck profile. Now I know what you're thinking, rank 4 spam in the Link era isn't exactly, the best option considering it relies on extra deck, but it can be pretty good because it focuses on spamming monsters and then, XE summoning and all that sort of stuff. But even if you can only get one on the field because of the Link era, then you can still spam the field with defense monsters so they can't break through. And then when your Xyz monster dies, Xyz again because you can spam the field. So like it's not obviously not the most preferable option, but really fun deck. And I don't know why, but I have kind of a sentimental value towards it, if that makes sense. Like it's just I don't know what it is. I'm just drawn to it, and I really like the deck. Might have something to do with my profile picture and banner, which happens to be Yuto from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 anime. He's my favorite character. XE summons. XE summoning is my favorite mechanic. Rank 4s are my favorite rank. Basically, all of my favorite stuff from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in this deck. So yeah, that's why I'm still sticking with it, even though it's everyone else would assume it's dead. But yeah, without further ado, we'll get onto the monsters. So first, I run 3 tin goldfish. Pretty standard. When it's normal summon, special summon a level 4 from hand. It's pretty much like a. It's basically a Goblinberg. That's pretty much all it is. And speaking of Goblinberg, here is a Goblinberg. Yeah, run 3 of that too. Just because same effect, except it switches to defense. Basically, if you draw one of these and you have a level 4 in your hand, it's a guaranteed rank 4. So, yeah, that's always good. Next, I like to run 3 Trick Clown, just because you can detach and then he special summons himself again, which can also lead to another Xyz monster if you have, Mrs. Radiant on the field. We do run Mrs. Radiant, by the way. Yeah, so it can be good in that sort of sense. Plus, it's also good for just, defending yourself, like they attack over it. I mean, you do have to pay 1,000 life points, so it's not preferable to pay the 1,000 if you're getting attacked, yeah, I don't know. If it's going to stop you from getting killed, and you still pay the 1,000, then it's worth it. It's a good card. It special summons itself, so that's always good. Next, 3 Gigabyte, because we do run a fair amount of spellcasters. He's just a free special summon when there's a spellcaster on the field, so that's always, that's good. Next, Kageto Kage. When a level 4 monster is normal summoned, you can special summon him from your hand. That's always good. Like, if you normal summoned Tin Goldfish, you can special summon that, use Tin Goldfish effect to special summon Trick Clown, then Gigabyte in hand, special summon, so you have 4 monsters on the field. Really, really good. Like I said, this deck specializes in spamming the field, so it honestly can be good in links as well. Like you can make a decode token and all that sort of stuff. It's just you really don't want to use that many resources, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I personally only run 1 link monster, and I rarely go into it anyway. I will get into that in the extra deck though. It will make more sense. But yeah, anyway, we have 3 Megalo Smasher X. Just because I did run Mystical Elf, because I saw a deck profile and some guy did run Mystical Elf. But quite honestly, Megalo Smasher is better because it can go into Evolsar Lagia, it can go into Bahamut Shark. By the way, we're running these because we have things like Unexpected Die and Rescue Rabbit, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so it's not just a normal monster we have. But yeah, so we do have those. Like I said, they're more compatible with the deck. Yeah, I just prefer that. Next, to Summoner Monk. Just because it's a Summoner Monk, it's a special summon if you have a spell card in hand. Usually, it doesn't go off that much, if I'm being quite honestly. But yeah, like I said, you can always special summon that, and yeah, it's a decent card no matter what. Like even if you normal summon it, it switches itself to defense. So if you can't get another one out for some reason, it's in defense for you, and yeah, it's a decent card. Next, 1 Rescue Rabbit because it's limited. Well, 1 Perform Age Hat Tricker. I am thinking of bringing that up to 3, so Mrs. Radiant has more play. I'm just not sure what I'd take out at this point. Yeah, I don't know, quite honestly. But yeah, I'm thinking of bringing that up to at least 2, I think. At least 2, because it's an Earth monster. It's a free special summon if you have 2 or more on the field. Yeah, so like I said, if you did that combo before where you normal summon Tin Goldfish, and then special summon Kage to Kage, use Tin Goldfish effect, special summon Trick Clown, special summon Gigabyte, then you can special summon Hat Tricker. That's 5 monsters. Yeah, that's just, it's crazy. Like this, it spams like there's no tomorrow. Next, a Snow, just 1, simply because I am like 90% sure she's at least going to get semi-limited because she's just really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. That's why we run 1 of her. Plus, I feel like more than 1 isn't really good in a deck like this because her cost is banishing 7, and usually you only get that off like once a game. So, yeah, that's why we only run 1. It's not really the main play of the deck, and honestly, you probably can't get it out as much as you can in other decks. But yeah, enough of that. I will get on to the spells now. Alrighty, for spells, it's a pretty weird lineup. It's mainly just a few staples. 3 MST, because it's MST, destroy spell trap. You need spell trap removal, and yeah, like I said, I've said this in all my videos. If I have an MST, it's just me waiting for a Twin Twisters. So, like, yeah, Twin Twisters is obviously preferable, but yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, and yeah, MST for now. Next, 2 Unexpected Die. Just because it's a free special summon of a Megalo Smasher, provided you can't have any monsters on the field. But if you draw that first turn, that's always good because you can get a monster on the field straight up, and then it can fix dead hands. Basically, just say you have something, but you can't get more than 1 monster on the field, but you have this in your hand. You activate this first, get Megalo Smasher, then normal summon another one, and Xyz. It just helps with stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I run that. Next, a Foolish Burial, mainly for Snow and Trick Clown. Like if it's early game, you can get a Trick Clown on the field. Yeah, it's good in that sort of sense. And if you have a lot in grave, but you haven't seen a Snow yet, activate this, send the Snow to grave, banish 7, special summon. Yeah, basically, you only use it if you're going to special summon something. I did consider adding Wolf, the Lightsworn Beast, but it wouldn't be worth it. Because it can't be normal summon. It just would not be worth it. It would actually be quite shit, to be honest. But yeah, I did think about it for a little bit. Anyway, reinforcements of the army for Goblinberg because he's a warrior. Book of Moon because it's Book of Moon, and then a Lightning Vortex. Like I said, you could discard Trick Clown and then special summon him, and it's basically Regeki with a special summon. Or you can discard Snow if you have a lot in grave. The discard effect is really nothing. Plus, this is cheaper to get, obviously, and yeah, that's pretty much it for spells. I'll get onto traps. Alrighty, now onto traps. We start off with 2 Pinpoint Guard. That's a very good card in a rank 4 spam deck. I did have it at 3, but I found it to be a bit cloggy, kinda. It's just if you get too many early game, it's kinda pointless. When an opponent wants to declare an attack, activate, special summon a level 4, and it's unaffected by card effects. It can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle for the rest of that turn. Special summons in defense, you're basically guaranteed to take no damage. So it's good. It's a really good card. Plus, it sets you up for next turn, which means because you're guaranteed a monster next turn, so it's really good. Next, 2 Call the Haunted, just because it's Call the Haunted, it's a special summon, and like usually, unless they MST it instantly, it's not going to like the whole destroy this if your monster is destroyed, or if this card is destroyed, destroy the monster, blah blah blah. That's not really going to affect it because your XE is summoning usually instantly, so. Yeah, it doesn't really matter all too much. I'm thinking of adding Back to the Front, the one from Code of the Duelist, just because it seems like it would be a slightly better version of that, But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking of it. Might update it later on. But yeah, that's why we're on that one. Next, a dimensional prison, D-prison as they like to call it, pretty self-explanatory. Then a mirror force, again self-explanatory. Bottomless is a staple, obviously. And then a grand horn of heaven. Because I do not have that many solemn warnings. I run solemn warning in like 4 out of my 6 decks, and yeah, I just don't have that many. So I put it in. I didn't put it in this. What am I saying? Anyway, put that instead because it's it's pretty good. Plus special summons. It can only negate special summons, by the way. I don't know if you know, but special summons are kinda more threatening. Like by then they've usually wasted a lot of resources. Then they're getting out their big boss monster, your Grand Horn of Heaven, and they're just like, oh, sweet. Plus, you don't have to pay life points, and considering you have Trick Clown, I feel like it's probably best if you don't pay too many life points. But yeah, so it kind of all works out. It's pretty decent. Anyway, enough for traps. We'll get to the thing you've all been waiting for, the extra deck. Yay! Anyway, I'll get on to extra deck now. I don't know what I am. Alrighty, now for extra deck, we run just a shit ton of one-ofs, pretty much. And that's just because, like, this deck, I've kind of built it in a way that the Xyz monsters, they have a way, like, they have a card that can get around anything, pretty much. I mean, not anything, obviously, but majority of situations you come across, you can get over. So, basically, we do run some links. We run Mrs. Radiant. I will be switching that out for Miss Starboy. I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, onto the actual extra deck. Here is Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. Good card for attacking over things, pretty self-explanatory. Castell, gets rid of a monster. Silent Honor Arc, because I had the room. It's pretty much a Castell, but it has protection at the same time. You do have a few more requirements to get the effect. But yeah, it's still good. Next, a Volsar Lagia. Basically a solemn warning on legs. It's very good. Detach to negate a spell, a trap, or a summon. Very good. Next, you run Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. Now, these rarely ever get out. I'm going to be honest with you. Really, the only time they get out is if you have Mrs. Radiant in your link zone, because then you can get Totally Awesome out. But yeah, honestly, the only reason I have him is because I have the room, and yeah, I don't know what else to say really. It's just they're in there. I have the room, I have the cards, and it can happen. And when it does, it's good. So yeah, that's always good. Next, the classic Utopia Lightning, whatever they call it. Just Utopia, Utopia Prime, and Utopia Lightning. That's always good to have in an extra deck. It's probably the best rank 4 kind of thing we have. But yeah. Then a Utopic Future. Honestly, kind of just left that in because it's a cool card. You'd never go into it really. Like I said, if you have Mrs. Radiant, then yeah, you would go into it. But yeah, it's very rare that you're going to go into it. It's kind of just, it's just there because it's a cool card. Like I said, I have sentimental value towards it. And yeah, that's pretty much all. Then a Gagaga Cowboy, because Cowboy for game, which I have actually done a few times. It's always fun. But yeah, so that's all the Xyz monsters we run. Obviously, there was a lot more when it was non-link rules. Not a lot more, there's probably like 2 more, but yeah, you know what I mean, like there's more. Another one that I do want to put in, I'm going to take out probably Utopic Future, because like I said, never going to. But yeah, I'm probably going to take out that for, what's the name? Perform Age Trapeze Magician, I think it's called. Basically, it's a really good option against Trickstars. The effect is you never take damage unless the damage is equal or higher to the card's attack, and the card's attack is 2,500. So basically they have to attack over it or they can't burn you. So for Trickstars, that's going to be really hard because they don't have anything that can attack over shit. Like, their monsters are pretty weak, they're focused on burning. So yeah, Perform Age sweet. Perform Age Trapeze Magician. There we go, finally said it. Perform Age Trapeze Magician, it's very, very good. Even if it's a side deck against Trick Styles, it's just very good against Trick Styles at the moment. And Chainburn, yeah, it's good against those two. Really, really fucking good. Anyway, now for the Link monsters, we have two Mrs. Radiant. Yay! Obviously not the best option for this sort of thing, but it's kind of the only one we have at the moment. I will be either switching this out for a Miss Starboy or just adding a couple in by taking out, I don't know, Utopic Future, the Totally Awesome, all that sort of stuff. I'll either take that out for Miss Starboy, because Miss Starboy is kind of more preferable for this deck because it's a water type. You need two water types, and majority of the monsters that I have are water. Like, that's the prominent attribute. So getting two waters on the field is much more likely than two earths, and then that would enable more XE spaces. So Miss Starboy is going to be the main one I'm going to be using, obviously. But yeah, for now, Mrs. Radiant, because until the Code of the Duelist Special Edition, we don't even have Miss Starboy. Plus, Miss Starboy, I don't know what he is. I mean, like, he looks cool, kinda. I don't know. The original looks really creepy. But anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah, that's it for Extra Deck. Anyway, that was my Rank 4 Spam Link profile. Don't know what I'm going to call it yet. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll be back probably next week for another video. See you then.